I'm wondering if a good place to begin is maybe Allie can talk us through. What do you think, Allie, the PowerPoint? Because that kind of shares the results, and we can sort of discuss and sort of comment on each slide. And then I do have some remaining questions for us in terms of going forward and getting more feedback from sites, just so that we're including everyone's eyes, but not having to demand that everyone responds to the survey, but maybe we create a sample program that could be the next step that people can respond to, like this, change that kind of thing. Does that sound like a fair plan? Sort of look over. Okay, Allie, you want to guide us through?
Sure, sounds good. I will. Oh, Mara, can you enable share screen, please? Cool, thank you. Okay, you should be able to see it now. So this is just going to go slide by slide. It starts off with the demographic questions. So it looks like most people completed it in a group. We had 58 responses, I believe, was the total thus far, and we're still missing a couple groups. So it seems like a pretty good response rate. With most of the groups being in the 5 to 10 range, with a couple of larger groups. There was one group that said they were 500 people. I don't know if that was a test or if that was an actual response. So that might be something to consider while we are planning to host this many people, which is cool. Otherwise, general breakdown is about 5 to 10 people in each group.
That seems about normal.
And
yeah.
We got 47 responses, and some of those responses have 5 to 10 people per group.
Yes.
Okay, so it is potentially representing quite a large number of kids.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would be the total if we kind of kicked out the 500? That looked like maybe that was a test question. I agree.
Yeah, I can calculate it really fast on the Excel sheet. Give me 1 second.
And Mara, I was saying earlier, as we can see, Santa Barbara is very well represented. I have a feeling that since that was 14, well, it's possible that Harding Elementary was represented, but I know that the undergraduates didn't have time last week, so it's possible that they're not in that, but maybe that's okay since there's enough representation from Santa Barbara. I didn't know what your thoughts were, but we could have them respond to it if you wanted.
I think Allie sent out in her message that, people could continue to respond. And I think we could just let people know that. And I think, like you said, Diana, that there would be more opportunities, like by sharing a draft program. So I think there'll be other opportunities.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. We don't want to overwhelm. I think we want to be conscious of how many times we're trying to engage kids, because I'm sure that takes a lot of work for the planning, by mentors and whatnot. So, but I think that hopefully people will feel like they have an opportunity to respond or engage in some sort of feedback.
I agree. 154 total?
Yeah.
So I bet in a report, if we wanted to send a short report to the whole UC Links, maybe with that distribution and the total of individuals represented in the responses would be a good, first sort of bit of that report. I can help shape with you, Allie, if you'd like, or maybe Devin and you could work on it.
Sounds good. We can definitely put that together.
Yeah.
All right, so then the next one was where they're all from. So of course, majority was from the Santa Barbara area, but it seems like we've got quite a few from the Berkeley Irvine, Santa Cruz areas, a couple from Europe, a couple from Asia, which is cool.
Cool.
I'm curious where these summer in California people are from.
I'm wondering if, oh, it's not Irvine. Huh. Any ideas? Somewhere in California?
You know, I wonder if did we not have Los Angeles represented there, because it could be the Whittier, maybe some of the Whittier kids. And you know what I did? I think I took out Los Angeles, not thinking because Marjorie. Oh no, we do have somewhere in Whittier. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basic breakdown of where everyone's from, looking at mostly the 10 to 12 age range. But nice distribution for a little bit younger and quite a bit older too, which is cool.
That seems to align with our programs a bit based on what I've heard from other campuses. We have this sort of pre-adolescent peak, you know, in many places. And that's actually a good, you know, targeted age group too.
Mm-hmm. Cool. It looks like they liked all of the ideas, with the hearing from other kids being the top choice. And it goes through the breakout a little bit on the next slides of what each one wanted. That's the percentage breakout though. In terms of what they wanted to hear from other kids, these are their written responses. I like the jokes. I think everything should include jokes.
I love it. You have the visions of hope for the future as well as jokes. So that we
Yeah.
want variety. Basically, we want a space for some real serious conversations that really matter, right? Hopes and for the future and what matters most. And then maybe that's, you know, we got to think about ways of framing that, those kinds of discussions. Yeah, well-being is important. I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all
Just
know
curious.
math. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know that there were some test responses in here. So is it possible that some of these responses are not authentic responses? Did you take out?
So I took them out of the Excel. I couldn't take them out of the default report that made this PowerPoint. But it looks like all of the test responses were either left blank or had like a test, or actually, like you'll see down.
Oh yeah, the
below,
nonsense.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, this sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy to see which ones are tests and which ones aren't.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we could do something similar. I like what NARST is doing this year, where they had a call for like serious research presentations, and then they had a call for like social presentations. And so you had the option to lead like a cooking event or a virtual game or like meditation. And so there was like two separate things that are then going to be interwoven in the program.
That's a good idea.
Here's the second page for what they want to hear from other kids or groups.
I would like to hear about the ocean. You could hear the ocean too. Because Estefania Pian Gonzalez, who is one of our coordinators for Leafy, she missed last year's UC Links event, but we just got her some high-tech equipment because what she plans to do is do live Zoom sessions underwater. So she's going to go to the bottom of the water of the ocean floor and explore with the children what's going on, what they can see. And we do have hydrophone, Sarah. Who's the one with the hydrophone? Let's get her in here.
Oh yeah, I can't think of it. I think it's Lindsay P.V. Reeves.
That's right.
Yeah.
She would love to lead a session. Say, hey, you want to hear the ocean? You want to hear how polluted it is? Because
Yeah.
there's sound pollution. It's confusing fish.
Would you like put a note out on the listserv when you have those kinds of sessions so other people could join?
Absolutely.
Because there's no reason that other sites can't join, right?
Absolutely. And especially if there can be maybe one coordinator joining, sort of acts, facilitating that, because I think Estefania wants to have some facilitative guide as she's walking through. It helps when undergraduate facilitators are fostering those conversations. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
sure. That sounds good.
I mean, maybe even that could be a component, like that could be, maybe she could do something like that for the youth summit.
Yeah.
Pe-
No, I'm sure she'd be happy to do that.
That could be a cool activity.
Yeah, and she could be, if we have 2 days, her partner has a prop plane, and she took this on one of her sessions, she was flying, and she had to fly low in order to keep her Wi-Fi connections, but they were fascinated.
I bet.
Look how different the ocean color is here versus there.
Are those ever recorded?
I have to ask her about that. I think they could be.
Because if I don't want to derail things, but just thinking about, because that would be something that we could just put up on the website and people could check that out.
Yeah, as soon as John's
asynchronously.
John Cano is doing he's doing some PD work in Nicaragua. When he returns, he's got he's gonna be beefing up our YouTube channel.
Okay.
And we're gonna link, and with the UC links and all of that.
Awesome. Great.
So there's some things I'd like to hear from other kids on hobbies and interests. We could do a hobby corner. What do you do in your free time kind of corner, and you share with others your hobbies. Man, there's a lot of math, Alessandra. You should have, maybe we should do a math game room of math around the world.
Somebody was suggesting, I think a teacher was suggesting using Minecraft to teach geometry.
That is awesome. We have crafted, I don't know if Devin or Allie or Sarah know about this, or Richard, but I know we have Minecraft, UCSB Minecraft. You could go virtually onto our campus through Minecraft. I don't know, someone recreated a Minecraft world. Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question, which was share something that they knew about. So rather than hearing from other kids, this is what they wanted to share about. Lots about animals.
Tomol. I know that name, a tomol.
Isn't that the vehicles that the Chumash used?
Yes, the boats. You know what? I think this is representing some of Harding then, because I think they did a tomol unit. So maybe there could be animal talking about what you know about animals, and everyone gives little mini presentations of what they know. We could do that. Our maritime community writing. Yeah, Harding is represented. Okay. So the maritime community writing, the 4th and 5th graders of Harding Elementary, which is our partnership school, they're writing an anthology. It's actually the 2nd volume, and it's called The Hawk in the Sea, because they're the Seahawks. And it's musings about our maritime community, but there's going to be essays, poetry, fictional stories, and I think there's a desire to share their written work. I'm not sure how that should look. Maybe it's a read aloud that the kids get a chance to read with, and they have a lot of artwork to go with it. So that could be one of the sessions that people could share their creative writing.
That'd be
We
cool.
all like Starbucks. Who's drinking coffee?
That would be cool, the creative writing part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's a different, but then also, you have those people who are really good with words, and that would be really neat.
Creative writing presentations or author corner sessions.
It might be cool for the animal stuff if we could make like a UC Links zoo, and like each different group has to contribute an animal to our zoo.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's so cool.
that would be cool. In the comments, Devin said poetry slam as well.
I love that poetry slam.
So the next question was, what would they like to learn about? Something new.
What other kids are doing all over the world? That could be in so many ways. What are we doing during pandemic times? What are we doing in our free time, or what's school like for us? That could be all kinds of things.
Yeah, this looks like they're asking about the online learning specifically.
Yeah. Learning about space. Is there any UC Links program that talks about, astronomy as, astronomical kind of? We don't really do that at UCSB. Is there another site that does that?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Sounds cool though.
Lee Webb does those rocket. I mean, it's not quite space, but he does, how to build your own rocket, right? He could, yeah.
With the virtual labs that we have, do like a virtual tour of space. I'm sure they've got programs that maybe one of the students, because one of the students have an Oculus Rift, so maybe they could like lead a tour through virtual space.
We do have several Oculus headsets, so it's something David Senyosa could probably make happen. So that's something we can note, virtual exploration of space. Actually, that's a great idea. It's not really telling information about it, but at least they get to see some of it.
Mhm.
This is a logistics thing, but do you guys mind if I kind of copy and paste the note stock that you started, Allie, into our other note stock? Because we had been keeping notes in one document that had notes from each one of our meetings, because I was just finding myself wanting to go back and look at notes from previous meetings. Is anybody opposed to me switching over and we just keep going in that one note stock that we already created already?
No, that
Okay.
sounds fine.
Okay, I just put it in the chat.
Awesome. What online learning is like from other kids around the country. So maybe like schooling, remote schooling is going to be an obvious topic. Maybe a series of roundtable discussions. And I'm wondering also, as we're thinking, and maybe this is for the next phase, but when we start to form a program, but think about like which of these sessions would be, I don't know, well-being, like supporting the well-being of kids, if they feel like they can come together and have consensus on these are our desires. This is what, our general experiences were, and this is what we wish our schools would know about us. And they could be statements from youth. so that they feel like they have a voice that goes beyond just this youth summit, but something that others could take note of. So there might be opportunities where we want to gather those youth voices. And that's where I think Sarah Hirsch can play a role in how we can sort of support our young participants, our young co-learners to raise their concerns and their recommendations for schools. And I don't know, it's just a thought.
So this is an extension of the last slide.
Maybe there's a paint with me, a draw with me session. Let's draw together. Oh, by the way, I might get sponsorship money. I'm not sure yet for this. I had submitted an application for this, I don't know, a million years ago. Everything feels like a million years ago. And the Montecito Bank and Trust is interested in sponsoring. So that would be an opportunity to purchase materials for conference participants in California, at least, because we could ship them directly to different sites. If we get that money, I think I asked for like, I don't know, several thousand dollars. That could be enough to get enough art supplies if we want to do a draw with me, so that there is enough supplies.
So drawing me like, and we would give them the canvases, or
Yeah, we could do that. We could do like everyone gets like a sketch pad and maybe, oil pastels. I like working with oil pastels. It's fun. Kind of
I was just wondering. I went to this thing. I don't even know what it was, and they had us painting. And so it was like we opened up an app, and then we literally did like a Bob Ross sketch in like 10 minutes, and then we got to pick which one was the best. But we did it in group online, and it was pretty neat. I mean, not that I'm a Bob Ross person, but like it was kind of neat.
That's awesome. We could do it digitally too. We could have a digital art. And maybe, but I do like the idea of maybe even having like materials that could be sent ahead of time if we want to do something physical. That's awesome. It's an app on like Google Suite or something?
Just know that we had I think it was even within Zoom, and then we watched the Bob Ross video and we like drew, and obviously it looked like hell because I don't know how to draw, with my mouse. But it was kind of neat because it brought us all together, kind of like the undergraduates that were there. We were laughing at our paintings, and also I want to say that I must go. I have to go to my research and methods class. But please, I look forward to seeing what you all come up with, and I will see you all again soon.
Good
Hi,
to see
Carla.
you.
Good to see you.
World
we
War
do
II.
If we do have money for materials, on the last page, there was like engineering and robots. One thing that I've been a part of is a couple of graduate students that I work with are running a virtual class of how to make soft robots. And you can make actually like a claw picker upper out of balloon coffee beans and plastic tubing. The kids go around and like pick up things around their house. It's really cool. So that might be something easy materials that we can send out and have them build.
That sounds good.
Okay. Next question was online games. Minecraft, of course, being one of the top choices. Devin, always default to you on that one.
How do you play Minecraft? It's just creating structures, but I feel like there's a strategy to it as well.
There's two different ways to play. There's like a story that you can follow where you have to like build things and survive and then ultimately kill a dragon. but there's the more popular way to play is you just kind of have this open sandbox style world where you can just build whatever you want in it. And that's always fun.
Hmm.
So maybe we can make like a UC Link server for this that they can go and build in.
Yeah.
Is it part of the problem though? Isn't that you have to pay to
You
have Minecraft?
so you have to pay to have Minecraft. So if students don't have their own Minecraft account, they wouldn't be able to play, but we could host the server entirely free and leave it open for people to come in and create whatever they want.
But maybe that's what we could do with the sponsorship money is purchase. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but like Mara like purchased Minecraft UC Links accounts, or something that kids could use. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
I don't
could
know
work.
how that would work.
Yeah, my husband actually did a Minecraft camp he was an instructor for, and they bought a whole bunch of discounted Minecraft accounts because you can get them sort of in bulk if you plan on using them for educational purposes. And so then they had all these logins for the students to use each day that they could take part in.
Well,
Did they disappear after a certain time period, or did the students just have them, they had their own accounts then?
Yeah, so we did it at Rochester Institute of Technology. So RIT owned those accounts, and then every year they just changed the passwords to them so the students couldn't get back in. So we only used them for the camp.
That's kind of interesting. So UC Links could, like for kids who don't have Minecraft accounts, in case anybody wants to, if we had a UC Links world, basically, where kids from all over the world could go in and build together, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a really cool idea.
that is so cool. It would be nice. I could see a free-for-all just to see what the children would do, that youth participants would do. And part of me wonders if we could connect it with some of the issues that they care about. I don't know. I'm
I
curious
think
about
they
both.
would.
Yeah.
We can
I think they
section
would.
off the world and put like little signs up and say like this area is for this kind of thing, and so then they can build different structures relating to that prompt. I've seen it before where people, like Allie said, like they were like, okay, let's make a zoo, and so they had an aquarium section, a farm section, and people like built cows and whales and sort of filled up the world with things that they were interested in.
That sounds amazing. I have a
God, it's like
feeling we're gonna, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm starting to think, we might want to do sessions in sort of, depending on how many youth participants we have, we could have them slated for certain time slots, and then we have access to certain Google Docs for linking on to their particular sessions. So that we can have an even number of people in, doing Minecraft versus, another, maybe a zoo, UC Link zoo session or a draw with me session, so that everyone has a chance to do everything. Because I can imagine we can only, what's the capacity of a Minecraft space?
Few thousand,
Well,
depending on how powerful your computer is.
And maybe that's something that we release early as like a teaser leading up to it of like, hey, come help us build this world. At the end of Youth Summit, let's do a tour of this virtual world that we've made together.
oh, lovely.
Yeah,
It's a little time consuming, this Minecraft building.
yeah, and everyone who isn't super familiar with Minecraft, I know I'm doing Gather Town for the next Appy Hour. If we have extra time, I can pull up my Minecraft server as well and just sort of show you around so you can see how it works.
That's a really cool idea. And we
Yeah.
could even send something out before Thursday and say, like, maybe if you were going to send out notes, Allie, about like just highlights from the meeting, you could say one of the things we potentially discussed was a UC Links Minecraft world, and Devin's gonna demo a world that she created if people want to come and see what Minecraft is like. What a cool way. I mean, this is, joint activity, right? Richard, thinking back, like I'm thinking back to a million years ago when I went probably early 2000, and I went to Spain and I went to Sweden and I went to Denmark to go visit all of the programs. And I feel like the folks in Denmark were actually engaging in, super rudimentary but online joint activity, maybe even with the folks in San Diego in some virtual, online world thing. Does that sound familiar to you?
There's been a longstanding chat community in Scandinavia that's intersected with the UC Links world, but
Mm-hmm.
and they're still active.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but there's a lot of stuff out there in the chat literature, and in the there's a newsletter from the ISCAR
Mm-hmm.
Association, most recent one, that has links to work going on in Scandinavia, applying chat to game playing that I think proved very interesting. And I'd be glad to send along the newsletter for you may have it already, Mara.
I don't. No, I'd love to see it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll send that along. But there's a lot, and it goes at it kind of as what do you call it when you design together with people? Participatory design. So lots of interesting work of that kind. I'll share that.
Cool, thanks.
Okay.
I just wanted to check also because we have like 15 minutes left, and I know one of the things that we had talked about trying to get out of this meeting is really kind of some goals and themes. So, and it seems like we're using it's much easier, of course, to go through and figure out what the activities might be to address each of these interest areas. But I wonder if also we want to make sure that we leave time to think about kind of overall what some themes might be that would kind of that are emerging from these responses. Like one of the things that I'm hearing is, people want to learn and they want to share. It sounds like they want to explore. And I remember one of the reasons I went back to our other notes were one of the things that Kathy was saying was space for youth to contribute, to learn, and or engage. So I just wanted to prompt us to be thinking also about these broader themes kind of as we're going through this. Because I think that'll help us then organize the activities. Does the activity get to, exploring or engaging or sharing or whatever?
Yeah, what sentiments have come up for me, and we could continue through the slides, but maybe we have enough of an idea to start having this conversation, is this coming together while remote. Like there's a real desire for children, for youth to connect meaningfully, right? Reaching across, sharing, and exploring were some of the words I jotted down. Drawing closer, while that's sort of the Life magazine motto, to draw closer. But maybe gathering and learning together. Yeah, drawing closer. So maybe the theme is really taking that notion of links, right? We're linking, but we're linking on this global level with our youth participants for the first time. Those are thoughts I had in my head. What do others think?
I was thinking that maybe there is a lot of conversation about, it looks like we could do a lot of really cool things associated with animals and perhaps the ocean, and we could have a team about that, and then different activities. So there could be you know, okay, the Minecraft, and maybe they build the aquarium, and the exploration of the ocean, like with the Leafy project, right? And actually somebody going there on the ocean and under the ocean, or, you know, or at least on the beach, like exploring that way. There could be a session on sharing what you know that is cool about animals, and there could be an art project related to it. It looks like a topic that could be explored in so many different ways.
So I was just thinking of those themes. If it was about a coming together, basically the virtual Leafy version has been called Nature Near You. So near, you know, close,
Yes.
drawing closer, you know, creating a new world together for Minecraft. So that's a together thing.
Yes.
So maybe each sort of activity has a
Yeah.
linking.
Yes. And what can we do together to save the ocean? Also something of that spirit.
Yeah. And so that every activity has a, you know, sharing and caring, kind of, you know, that reciprocal sharing and learning together. That could be the, let me tell you what I know. Our zoo, gathering our animals, hugging, you know, our, you know, instead of zoos being a place of objectivity, you know, sort of, you know, kind of, what do I want to say? I mean, we all have mixed feelings about zoos, so maybe this could be a different kind of zoo, one that is fostering, like our home, our animal home versus, you know, we could have zoo crossed out, our animal home. I don't know, like, you know, home, using home language. That's actually some emerging scholarship out of feminist studies, using home language. So maybe the UC Links itself establishes this thing that we want to establish, this sense of connection and belonging. Belonging. We belong together. What others think? I don't know. This is the fun of brainstorming.
In this talk of like links, since we have the possibility of like sending out materials, I just thought it might be kind of cool. I don't know if you've ever made like the paper chains where you have the strips and you staple them together so it makes a chain. If like for each person who submits the presentation, they have to create like a very simple like strip that we then print out and send to everyone. And at the end, we can all make like our chains together of community.
Oh, I love it.
Random idea.
I love that idea. And I think that there is actually a lot of, there's a lot to be said for like everybody having the same materials, you know, and doing something together. I just don't, there's a lot of room for error in that if we're planning for hundreds of people in multiple countries. And I would hate for somebody to not have that, whatever it is. Like that would be a big, it feels like that might be a really big hit if everybody else had, you know, some whatever and you didn't, because, you know, the mail couldn't get through to, you know, somewhere in Uganda or whatever.
You know, I was thinking about that. I mean, first of all, we'll have to think about the time zones as it is. Like, I'm not even sure how, you know, I don't want any 8-year-old to be up at 3 a.m. so they can join this conference. I'm worried about
Yeah, I mean, some of it'll have to be asynchronous, I think, like we
Yeah.
talked about before too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but one thought I have is I don't believe there is a conflict. I could be wrong and I can check, but if a UC Links affiliate were to purchase stuff within their area of the world, they could submit a reimbursement form to our admin office. I don't see a reason why that wouldn't happen or couldn't happen. So I think we could figure that out if we really wanted to do that.
We might have to just come at it as a question for people, like for people who are participating. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we could keep the material simple enough. Yeah. Other thoughts? I dig the possible computing idea, and maybe online programming. Richard, I mean, I don't know what are some thoughts that you have? What are you doing at St. George?
Well, we're dead in the water just like about everywhere else in terms of the contacts at present. But yeah, I mean, so there are ways of going at things with Scratch online, and with that are possible to get at that will allow that. And I guess if the hard thing would be to get people artifacts like Makey Makey, or things that then allow you to be able to play with physical computing as well as the entry through a computer. But it's possible. I think working out something with the Makey Makey has virtual connections to Makey Makey programs where you can actually play the software if you have access via the internet on a computer. So there's a possibility of that. There are also other demos with I'm blocking on the name of it, that hand controller that recognizes your hand shape, and you can play. You can pick petals off of flowers and have them play music and stuff like that. All done, but you need to have the device itself. But there's some demos. I guess Makey Make is probably the easiest one to get access to virtually.
Well, and I'm also wondering if, to Mara's point about who can get access to certain technologies, that maybe we kind of have a different orientation about that. That if we have a more global definition of what counts as a technology, I mean, what's in my hand is a technology, then perhaps we share the various technologies that we use in our respective spaces, and it's another way of teaching others how we engage in social and work lives.
Yeah, I wish Carla were on, because we could. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the folk term in Latin American culture, a lot in Mexico, called rascuache. Rascuache refers to kind of making do with what you have. And
Can you put that in the chat? I would love to see how that las squache.
rascuache, it's like a
Squache.
squache. I'll have to check the spelling, but what it means is making do with what you got. A prime example is the way people survive in Cuba, how they make do with refabricating things because they need to make things continue working, but they kind of make do with what they have. And that's a very interesting concept, and I can give you send along some links with that. But okay, we're here with what is making. We've always been devising and making things happen just in everyday life, and people who don't have a lot of money and income, really get really good at doing things like that, to make do with what they have, to invent.
And it's an important funds of knowledge, right? That's an important funds of knowledge to share and be very proud of. So I like that idea of what we use.
Yes, thank you, Mara, for posting that term.
There's a
I
cool
think there's a
thing in
T may be missing there before the TCHE, but Google will correct us.
Okay.
that was just what they have from like Wikipedia, and
No T, okay.
but there's probably different ways to spell
Variations.
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also talk about rascuache art also, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, Raskas, there's this poet who he crafts out of natural artifacts that you find on the ground to create words and images. And we actually did this in Leafy when we, you know, in the before times. I hate saying before times. It just feels so apocalyptic. But before the pandemic, I mean, they would take, you know, flowers that were on the ground and they would create names and words, and it's a way to engage in nature. And so that's another thing that could be part of this. I think one of the sessions could be about Rasquache, learning. I like the name of it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think here. I guess we have to watch your time, but like there was the Amara Belinda in San Antonio.
Right.
Yes, she was the one who introduced me to connecting this to UC Links, Rasquache.
Oh,
And
okay.
Was her last name Flores? I'm trying to think.
Flores,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and so they had teacher education program where they're introducing UC Links with Olga Vasquez, and they kind of were exploring different ways of making as part of teacher education programs connected to UC Links. But there were some interesting videos that they had, and maybe if we can contact Belinda, we can get access to that video. You can see people making up musical instruments and playing in combination with each other with invented musical instruments. It's really very powerful stuff. Cool, very cool to share.
Cool. I can follow up with Belinda. That sounds, I like this term in this concept, kind of, right? Building on what we have.
I guess the point coming back of saying to deal with the issue that Diana raised, not everyone has the same material wealth and access to technologies, but they have inventiveness on their part to survive. That's that same energy is kind of the energy we're drawing on when we have the super technologies also. So
I just was inspired from this exchange about a possible theme sort of tag, but what we have is each other. But what we have is each other. So, you know, we're in pandemic times, but what we have is each other, and what we can share, how we draw closer. We have each other. That's kind of a nice theme, one that kind of stems from love and understanding. I kind of dig it. It feels good.
As a sub, yeah, like it's like, yeah. You
What
could
we
always
have, you
add
know,
that to the end of any sentence.
yeah, but what we have, you know, UC Links Youth Summit, you know, we have each other. You know, we could share with one another. We can learn from one another. We could have fun together. We have each other during these times. That might be a really, it feels healing to me.
And community, and recognizing community.
We have community. Yeah. What do others feel? I don't know. It feels good to me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this Rasquache team can be taken also as get the most out of what you have. Like, how can you find, you know, what do you find that is good about this? Can you find me something good into this, you know, the online learning and everything? I mean, can you still get the most out of what you already have? I don't know if we can be like, you know, some kind of optimism and positive.
We have each other. Let's Rasquache. No, that was probably because that's basically a nominalization, isn't it? Is that a nominalization, Richard?
I'm not sure. It probably is, but the other part of the Rasquacha theme is that it's not just making do, it's making new, it's inventing. And so that design.
Making do and making new. Oh, rhymes.
But if we can get Belinda's video clips that I've seen before, I mean, it's very powerful. You can see it as kind of a community action philosophy.
I love it.
For community change.
Well,
Eh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking for next steps, Allie and Devin, would you mind putting together sort of a overview of what we discussed and maybe some general ideas that we landed on, and maybe this potential theme that we just talked about, and sending it out to the UC links. Mara, to the whole UC links or just the PIs, or what do you think?
Oh no, I think to everybody
Yeah,
for
everybody,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe it would be good, like do we want to check it out first and kind of finesse any
Yeah.
theme ideas and
I-
then
yeah.
and then share it? Yeah.
I would advise that because Rasquache was also considered to be kind of a down term in the sense that it was if you're looking if you have privilege and you're looking at Rasquache it was a term that was described as you're inferior, but from the perspective of the people, it's different. It's not that take.
Mm-hmm.
It's being inventive versus
Mm-hmm.
inferior. So
It
it
seems,
has a double-edged meaning. So you have to kind of, I think, craft around it so as to make it be productive,
and
but
I
yet
kind of
express discovery.
Yeah, and the way that I imagined the theme, it sounds like is more about, links to learning and links to each other and like Rasquache is like the approach that we're taking.
What we have and bringing
Right.
it together so then it's gathered, like what I have and what Alessandra has and what Sarah, what we all have, Devin and Allie, like all of us, when we put our respective, I'm just playing with the word Rasquache together,
Yeah,
we have a lot,
I expect Carla will be all over this.
Yeah. I'll bring it up with her.
Totally,
I will
totally.
ask her about it.
You'll get everybody for
But
that.
maybe like hearing what Richard's saying about how it needs to be more contextualized. So maybe it wouldn't be in like a theme that we send out without the context. Like it's more about our approach and how we embody this and our coming to this work together. So that's my impression. So it wouldn't be like, the theme is something, Rasquache, because that might.
but we have each other,
Mm-hmm.
and so maybe that could be the theme. Yeah, so Allie and Devin, maybe you could put together a Google Doc and share it with this group here, including Carla, and so we can review and offer any suggestions before sharing with the whole UC links. Does that sound good?
Can I share my screen real quick? Because I just wanted to show you guys I just pulled up the UC Links website here, and this is the logo, and the tagline is UC Links to Learning after school. I mean, after school isn't that meaningful right now, but links to learning could be in there, and we could use that logo too, if that's helpful. Just something that we already have. UC links to learning and each other, or not UC links to learning, but we were talking about drawing on the links.
Yeah, links to learning and caring.
Or learning and sharing. Yeah.
Links to others, right? Because it's all about
Mhm.
building communities across groups.
Mm-hmm. Or linking together.
Yeah.
Linking together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's-
maybe a series of ideas, I think would be
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Richard.
I think it's challenging to think about this too, because there are other networks like Connected Learning
Yeah.
out of UC Irvine and that MacArthur Foundation network, which is very powerful and distributed all over, that have similar themes. So I think it's kind of like being able to create metaphors or ways of thinking about similarities and uniquenesses all working together. So that it's kind of like a family of different philosophies that are distributed everywhere, among people who are trying to deal with change, so that
Mhm.
having themes that are like themes of other groups is fine. It's good. It's great. It's part of a contribution.
Yeah, I think if in the notes here, you guys, I highlighted the kind of some of the notes that I've been taking in case it's helpful for you. Yeah, I think that and I think that lens of we have the theme, and then we have a lens to make sure, to look at, to make sure the activities they're sharing, or they're linking, and they're coming at it through the approach of rasquache, right? So we're working with what we have and building anew together. I think it sounds awesome. I'd want to go.
Yeah.
Sarah, is there anything, since you have fresh eyes on these conversations, I feel like.
Oh, well, I really was, I just put this in the chat, but I really like where we're going with this theme about what we have together, because so much of the discourse about the pandemic has been what we don't have and what we've lost. So I think this really changes the perspective. And so it gives a really positive sort of spin on, us being virtual, but what we're, the building of the community that we've been talking about, and sort of looking what this does provide us, and what we already, like, taking stock of what we already have and then sharing that, right? Because what you have isn't new to you, but when you share it with somebody else, it becomes new to them. And so I think it's a really great way, I think it's a good path for what we're going in. I think it'd be great.
Cool. I think one of the things that you said also, like, it might not be new to you, but it might be new to someone else. One of the things that came up a few times in those responses were scavenger hunts, which kind of feels like that a little bit to me. I like it. Would people be okay? We've been recording this, and I feel like it's been a really interesting discussion. Would people be okay with sharing this, posting this on the UC Links website and on our YouTube channel, so anybody who couldn't attend would? Okay, great. I think that would be great. And I'm super excited about this potential Minecraft world idea. I think that could be, if we could just buy like a ton of Minecraft accounts and then have a world, we could open up that world, as soon as, we'd have to find somebody who would be able to manage it, because I would not be that person. Maybe my 13-year-old could be, but it sounds like, Devin, you have a good handle on that. And maybe there are other people too at other sites, other graduate students. Maybe it could be a so that the responsibility doesn't fall on any one person, but thinking about opening that up like soonish, so kids have the opportunity to play in there together leading up to the youth summit, sounds like a pretty exciting idea. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to, it's nice to see you in person, Devin, and I'm really excited to hear more about GatherTown and about Minecraft on Thursday for our Appy Hour. Thanks for volunteering to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited to share.
And Sarah, if you want to be a part of some of these other, exchanges, please, obviously you'll see the invitations that Mara will send out.
I also added the UC Links calendar to my calendar. So
perfect.
The happy hour shows up and this link showed up and stuff too.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm glad that at least one person did that.
That's great. Well, it's good to see everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for collecting all the data and sharing this out with us and everything, Allie. This is really helpful. I really appreciate you guys' leadership on this.
Always glad to help.
Yeah, you're lucky for us.
Yes. Okay, till next
Thanks
time.
everybody. See you on
Bye.
Thursday.